It's time to follow the money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard, only on the Vegas Stats and Information Network, Sirius XM Channel 204.
We are loaded this hour. Thanks for checking in. Nick Bogdanovich, bottom of the hour, Director of Trading over at William Hill Sportsbooks. Right now, a lot of NBA with the coach, David Thorpe, as he joins us on Tuesdays at this time. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing really well. I don't want to, at the risk of kind of repeating ourselves every Tuesday with you, talking about the same teams, I don't want to fall into that trap, but they did play two teams I want to talk to you about this morning here because they played last night, and now we're about, give or take, 12% of the way into the season. But Toronto, top two offensive efficiency. They're number 4 on defense. Awesome again last night, back-to-back, no Kawhi, to win in Utah like that. And also Denver, they did it again, a nice win at home. And defensively, David, they continue to get it done, now number 3 in the league defensively. But how impressed are you by both of these teams?
I'm more impressed with Denver just because this is what I thought Toronto would be, even without Kawhi, a game here or there. You could see that last year, Masai had he's got a stable of young athletic guys. And, in the way the game is being played, as the pace that they're playing and the challenges of defending so much land, on a court, people talk about being long and tall, that's fine, but you got to be fast. It's a fast game. And I think Toronto, more so than Denver, does that. The Nuggets have done it. I've never been a huge fan of their coach, but I have to give them credit for how they're playing. They've got different guys, kind of stepping up. Gary Harris is good a bunch. Jamal Murray, of course, had 48 last night and looked like a young Derrick Rose actually last night, I thought. They've got their great player Jokic in the middle, and they believe. That's such a big part of this early season stuff. I listened to Mike D'Antoni speak the other day on a Zach Lowe podcast talking about, buying in. And I think the Nuggets guys have really bought into Coach Malone and what they're doing and how they play. And that's a big, big reason why I felt both those teams defend at a top 5 level. They buy into what they're supposed to be doing, and they do it.
Good answer. And also, that's what's going on in Milwaukee, which did not happen last year. Yeah. They shot 56 threes Sunday, and the defense has been solid as well off to the hot start.
Yeah, no question. I mean, I've been ridiculed for years when I was, I spent a decade at ESPN, and we had Twitter for most of the time I was there, and I've always written and tweeted that I think it's a coach's league. And people took it to mean the wrong thing. It wasn't like I wasn't saying guys like LeBron James, aren't literally franchise makers. But the best coaches tend to win wherever they go because they get guys to buy in. They come up with systems and strategies that best fit the roster that they have. And they get their players to play really well within that system and within that design. And I feel like Budenholzer has proven himself in Atlanta with a roster no one expected to dominate. And he's doing it again, and we're not surprised.
You mentioned Twitter. How about I thought you had a couple good tweets. How about the Nets-Pistons game? So fun to watch, even though teams that weren't expected to do anything, the NBA has to be smiling. Can you explain what you meant with that tweet?
Yeah, I mean, actually, that was a night where I think the first 4 games of that, maybe a 7 or 8 game schedule that night, either went overtime or down to like a possession or two. Mm-hmm. They just were compelling, dramatic, well-played games with lots and lots of good players. And, a team like Brooklyn has got that Karis LeVert guy that no one really knows. He's number 20 pick. He's good. Joe Harris from Virginia is a solid player. D'Angelo Russell, everyone knows. But these are young guys. The Allen kid inside for Brooklyn. We know who the Pistons have. Unfortunately, they're not as deep as some of these other teams, and I think it's catching up to them because Drummond and Blake are both playing really at a very high level, especially Drummond with his 2020s almost every night. But look around the league, guys. We know who the stars are, and the cold reality is I've never been one to think that Golden State is a foregone conclusion to win the championship. And I still don't think that because of injury. But absent that, everyone else has to improve so much to get to where I think they can go. But that doesn't mean we won't have a lot of great games during the season because there's more talent, I think, than ever by far in NBA history. And I think based on the bloodline coming up, just the powerful programs in the mid-majors getting and developing good players, basketball in America and around the world is at the highest level ever. And so every night, no matter who's playing, you can see really good players play.
Mm-hmm. Another tweet, too, I think was a compliment to LeBron about, well, wait a second. You mentioned culture last week with the Cavs and what they're doing, and they finally worked out the contract details with Drew after they fire Lou and promote him, but they wouldn't give him the pay raise. But who was on the floor with LeBron when they had a 2-1 series lead over the Warriors the first time they met in the finals? But then that article came out in The Athletic where they went back, reneged on a handshake deal with Corver, who said, you got to get rid of me if LeBron opts out. They go back on that. The veterans don't get along with the young guys. They didn't. J.R. Smith demands a trade. I mean, this is ugly what's going on. And they're 1-9.
You know, I've said this on the show, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I literally have to make an amend to that because when you have LeBron James on your team, at least back in the day, in the last 4 years, he makes up for the bad culture. But it's a rotten franchise with a rotten owner. The way they fire people, the way they treat people, they were the biggest Band-Aid in the world was having LeBron James on their team. And that's why I tweeted that. If you take LeBron off that team 4 years ago, there's no way they're coming close to the playoffs. And yet they had taken 2 games off of with David Blatt off of the eventual chance before they lost in 6. Until they get a new owner or the next kind of LeBron, Cleveland should be looking at a long, long winter for years to come.
Well, and can you possibly explain how ugly it is right now in Minnesota with the Wolves and the entire Jimmy Butler situation? And we're talking to David Thorpe here and Follow the Money, Sirius XM 204 and Fubo TV. I have a buddy that watches every single T-Wolves game, and I watch them when they're on as well. But this Okogie kid is now taking this team by storm, evidently. And he had a couple of things here, David. He had a huge dunk against the Blazers right away. And last week, believe it or not, when he had a really big dunk, Andrew Wiggins, at 23 years old, said, Okogie reminds me of myself when I was younger. He's 23 and he's making a statement like that. The whole thing in Minnesota is just one big sloppy mess.
Well, we go back to the same thing we just were saying, right? In most cases, if you don't have LeBron James, your culture is going to kind of ruin no matter what talent you have. Sadly, Derrick Rose, I was watching this tape on him this morning. He looks healthier than I've ever seen him. Since the injuries. His skill game has gotten better. He still has some defensive liabilities, and he isn't the MVP level player by any stretch of the imagination. But certainly, he's kind of found his gears, found his confidence. He's crediting the coach. I don't really care who gets the credit. The point is, he's become an above-average player. Now, excuse me, he'd be better playing the 1 than the 2. They should go. He's much better. The Wolves are much better when Rose is starting at the point guard instead of the shooting guard spot. They should bring Jeff Teague off the bench as long as Derrick Rose is out playing him like he is. But they're a stupid team. They do stupid things. So I don't think they'll probably do that. Kogie's okay. He's only 20. He's had some decent moments. I don't know if he's a long-term NBA guy, but put Derrick at 1 and let Okogie continue to get minutes at the 2 and develop him when Jimmy Butler's sitting. But that's the problem there is they don't know what they're doing. It's really sad. And so guys like Wiggins and Towns are lost. They're just lost. Yeah. And these are guys that were looking like surefire all-stars, and in the case of certainly Cat, if not also Wiggins, potential Hall of Fame kind of guys. That's the kind of talent they have, and they're nowhere close to that right now. And that goes to ownership, management, and coaching.
Well, how long is this going to take for the Lakers to figure it out, too? Because I'm a little confused because Magic rips Luke Walton, according to reports, and then they go out and have a big performance and a big road win at Portland. Then they return home Sunday without Kawhi, and for the first time in 40 years, a home team is down 30 in the first quarter.
I think, well, first of all, I would say 20 games. I don't even know where I got that number from, but I've always felt like you got to get 20 games in, basically a quarter of the season. I don't remember what the Miami Heat record was the first 20 games, LeBron's first 20 that first season. 5 years, I guess, 8 years ago, whatever it was. But it wasn't great. And there was much more talent on that team. I actually think the Lakers do have talent. They're young, but I think they have talent. Most people would agree with me. And I think LeBron's not trying very hard. So for whatever reason, still tired from the long season. I have no idea. But he's not competing at the level that we see him in the postseason, and he doesn't have the talent and veteran leadership around him to make up for that. So they're going to be about average, which is what they are. I do think he'll come around sometime around the holidays, Christmas holidays, so forth, And then I think they'll still be a playoff team. I've always thought 6, 7, 8 seed is where they would be. I still kind of feel that way.
Okay, very good. And how important was this that they get Bogdanovich out of retirement, the Rockets' associate head coach and also their defensive guru? Now they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah, I didn't know if he was there before all 3 wins, but I'm a big believer in coaching, right? I'm a coach, so I see things through a coach's eyes, and that's why I would say it's a coach's league. I don't know what they were doing defensively in terms of scheme that's any different, but having someone demand of players, Tony's not great at demanding on defense. He just doesn't like doing it. I have a lot of players that have played for him. He's an offensive-minded guy. So if Bogdanovich is a good defensive coach, and if he's more demanding and holding guys accountable and saying to Mike, hey, we got to get the guy out. He's just not competing, or he's not going under the screen like he's supposed to, or whatever. That'll make a difference. I think they're also getting, they got Harden and Paul back, and that helps. They still have some holes on the bench. I still see some wing athleticism issues that they need to address for them to do what they did last year and give Golden State a run. But absolutely, they're trying harder. I watched them last night. I thought they played a little bit with their hair on fire, and I hadn't seen that in a while. And that's a good thing. They need to play at that level. There's
only 4 games tonight in the association. Are you going to check out this marquee doubleheader with all these future pros in college? And the Gators take on Florida State tonight, too. Florida State hammered them last year. Any thoughts on those matchups, if you're going to watch or check it out?
Yeah, I typically don't watch college, although now that my son is 17 and really gets into it, he's played against some of these players in AAU and whatever. He might have it on when he gets back from his high school practice. But my wife's spending 14 hours today volunteering at a polling station to ensure that everything's on the up and up. And when she gets home, I promise her a foot rub and roses and a nice drink, and we're going to watch the election. She is working her butt off today, and so I'm going to be a good husband tonight. But I know the college games will be exciting, and I imagine they'll be on somewhere in my home.
Very cool. You're a good guy, David. Thanks so much for the time, as always. We appreciate that.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Right, yep, there you go.
Yeah, he's right about that. LeBron's going through the motions. Although I wouldn't want to bet against him playoff time. But still, it's you see it out there.
He's a good husband. My wife has a trip to the dentist today. I think I'm going to make her take Uber to get there.
There you go. After that Halloween fiasco.
Oh, my God.
Sure.
The makeup. It's coming your way, honey. Just be patient.
Yeah, sure.
By the way, who's good? Who do you trust the most? Who wins the Southeast Division in the NBA? Charlotte right now at 5-5.
15-1, Mitch.
I think it's going to be long-term, though, right? You got to trust Spoelstra in Miami more than anybody else.
Well, that's huge. What's going to happen with Butler? He's going to be traded. But where's he going to go?
Mm-hmm.
But that would be Miami's going to win the division if they get Butler. Well, we'll find out a lot about the Wizards in the next week because the schedule's easy. They beat the Knicks. Now they're short road favorite in Dallas where they never win. Haven't won since 2009. We'll find out a lot about the Mavs here. About the Wizards. If the Wizards stumble in this next stretch, and I like the Hornets too. Kemba's having a good year.
How about some of the wins for Orlando so far in the season? Beat San Antonio. That was on the road. Last night, down 5, under 45 seconds to play. They outscored Cleveland by 7.
I'm good,
beat
though.
Boston on the road.
I'm good where I'm at. I got 15-1 on the Hornets. I got plus 180 on the Heat. So I was anti-Wizards before the season.
Oh, big time.
I love my position. I don't. Yeah. So, but they took them down now at William Hill. So I might, if the Wizards get something going, maybe can buy back.
That's shaping up to be my favorite season-long win total bet on the Wizards to the under. By the way, can we stop the season right now? Because William Hill allows you to parlay this stuff. I parlayed the Bucks, the Raptors, and the Nuggets to win.
Their divisions?
Their divisions, yeah.
Wow.
3-team parlay.
What'd you get the Nuggets at?
Plus 350, I believe, that time.
Yeah. Good job.
And the Raptors were plus money.
And boy, if the Raptors move big time in the future markets.
Oh, my God.
Favored to win the division. That's the best bet I made all summer. I got them 7-1 to win the East.
Are they favored right now to win the East? Over the Celtics?
Let me look. I believe so.
They must be, right? Because they're favored now to win that division, so.
And the Bucks have moved, obviously, big time, too.
Oh, yeah.
The Bucks have moved. To win the East, 15-1 down. I think there's low as 550 now.
550.
What were you asking? The East.
Raptors to win the East. Yeah. Who's the favorite there?
Celtics are $1.10. Raptors are plus 140. That's surprising.
It is. It's kind of
another
backwards.
Celtics loss, another Raptors win. Great record, 3-0 without Kawhi. Bucks are down to 550 to win the East. Sixers, it's unacceptable.
Yep.
I'm not buying it at all. They don't have a win away from home. Sloppy, ton of turnovers. Brett Brown let him have it. Said unacceptable. Another horrible loss against the Nets. He called them out.
Did you see, by the way, the performance from Fultz in that game?
I missed it.
Oh, my God.
I saw what Embiid did in the first half of the Saturday afternoon.
Oh, he had 39, I think.
I think 32 in the first half.
32 in the first half, 39 overall.
Yeah.
Fultz in the game against the Nets, some of his shots, he missed the rim by 4 feet.
Oh, no. I was watching one game where it was the end of a quarter, and he just tossed the ball to the ref. He didn't even shoot it because it was past the three-point line. He goes, I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Good God.
Oh, no.
Boy. Up next, win some, lose some in tonight's college schedule, including one total, the college football game. It's dropped by like 2 touchdowns. That's coming up next.
Your search is over. You found Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on Sirius XM 204. Now listen up for Winformation.
We will ask about a duffel bag boy update to Nick Bogdanovich from William Hill coming up at the bottom of the hour. You can follow us on Twitter at VSiN Live, at Mitch Moss Radio, and at Pauly Howard as we are live in Las Vegas from the South Point Sportsbook.
Rough night?
Can't call it a bad beat. Definitely lose some.
Good night? How does it make you feel?
I absolutely hate them. I absolutely hate them.
Follow the Money looks back so we can learn for today.
Everything's an adventure.
In Win Some, Lose Some. Let the education commence.
Get your bad beats here. Let's start with Cavs Moneyline plus 170. Led by 5 with 40 seconds left. Turnover, foul, miss, buzzer beater, Orlando. They win by 2. I don't know what happened in the third quarter. The Magic were ready to run them out, up double digits, and they scored 12 points in the third. How's that possible against that awful Cavs defense? Anyways, they lose again. They're 1-9 as they blew a 5-point lead with 40 seconds left. How about Bulls Knicks under? 216 down to 213. You needed double overtime to lose that. Double overtime. 116-115 Bulls.
That was everything. Knicks team total, all that kind of jazz.
102-102 at the end of regulation.
Did you see the final minute, by the way? Layup by Trier, turnover by the Bulls, three-pointer by Trier, tied at 102. Here we go to overtime.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Yep. Same thing with the Heat and the Pistons. You have under 218, 120-115. The Heat win, but 105-105 at the end of regulation. I believe with less than 10 seconds, Dwayne Wade missed both free throws, which allowed the Pistons to tie it, and you lose the under there because of overtime. Tough push. Oilers Capitals over 6, 4-2 going into the third. That was the final. Oh, that was tough. Bad for the books. It's bad for the books if you've been following Mitch Moss, and thanks to John Brown, I have the numbers. Appointment viewing or listening on Fridays during the football season in pocket. He is 17-3-1 since the football season began. He's 15-0-1 when John Brown's in studio. John took off on a Friday. I think he had like an 0-2 or something. 15-0-1. 0-3, whatever. 2-3, whatever.
So that's officially documented now.
Yeah, you're 17-3 on Fridays within pocket.
Look ahead. And when John's here, I haven't lost a game yet. 15-0-1.
Yeah, you haven't lost when John's right there.
I'll take it. Good.
Unbelievable. You and Personal Gourmet. Those are the plays. Autoplay. Bad for the books. Rockets +1 went off the favorite, beat the Pacers by 4. Celtics Nuggets over 205.5 to 210. 115-107. Lose some. Pelicans Thunder under 238 down to 235. Fell 238. Jazz from 2-point dogs went off 3-point favorites. No Kawhi? Doesn't matter.
Nope.
Raptors routed them, and the under was bet down from 217 to 214. 124 to 111. Ibaka was Superman again. Lowry played well. They're 3-0 without Kawhi. T-Wolves Clippers over 228 to 233, fell 229. And Monday Night Football, the under from 42 down to 40, it fell 42, 28-14. I thought it was going to stay under when Suckup missed the field goal. Because I knew Dallas wasn't going to score.
Nice look by the Cowboys.
Prescott was horrible.
God,
those two turnovers are just silly. Take care of the ball. Fumble at his own one against the Redskins. Guys coming right at him, and he did the same thing. Eat it. Take the sack. Don't try to make a play. That fumble was ridiculous. And the interception was worse. Throwing it up for grabs in the red zone. High school.
Well, as you said earlier, that's a total Jameis Winston move.
Totally. Joke.
The whole organization. Jones as the owner, the acting GM, Garrett as a coach, Dak as the quarterback.
The whole thing.
What do you like right now? The defense is actually pretty good. But it doesn't matter because the offense is horrible.
If they get a top-notch coach, they could turn it around.
Yeah.
But as long as Jerry is making the key personnel decisions and giving up first-round picks for Cooper, who's done nothing in 2 years, you're stuck.
Yep.
You are stuck.
He's going to have that yes man as the coach. That's what Garrett is. Lombardi calls him the Clapper. Great name. And as long as he's not going to, relinquish the GM duties, he's never going to turn it around.
He bothers me. All he does is spit and clap on the side league, spitting and clapping. Mm-hmm. And the look on his face, so confused. And what happens now?
Okay, we do have Maction tonight. Kent State at Buffalo. Kent State has 2 wins on the year. Buffalo, they are 8-1 overall. We are looking at Buffalo minus 20-ish in this game right now. Total now, here's the story in this game. The total opened up yesterday afternoon around 55. Well, because of the weather in the Buffalo area, up to an inch of rain the way it appears. Winds around 20 miles an hour with gusts up to 50 miles an hour. That dropped in a couple of hours from 55 down to 40, and now it's back up to 43. But because of that, my God. Well, I guess what a mistake by opening the number at 55, huh?
Yeah, with the weather. Yeah. They should bury him. They should still be able to just line up and run all over.
Yeah, run right down their throats.
Good quarterback in Jackson. Yeah, good running backs. Marks, good wide receiver. Osborne, Johnson. Jackson's 23-8 touchdown INT ratio. They're 8-1. Great season. But their season comes down to next week in terms of they play Ohio to win the East and go to the MAC title game. But Kent State's off. They're 2-7, and they won last week, so that's their prize. They should do whatever they want.
And college basketball begins tonight as well. We've talked a lot about it so far on today's program. The marquee games that are going to be on ESPN, the Champions Classic. These 4 teams rotate every single year, different locations. Tonight, Michigan State takes on the number 1 team in the country in the ratings. And Kansas is 6 points now. Well, 5.5 here at the South Point, but 6 against Michigan State. I like Sparty plus the points. Kansas is absolutely loaded, though. They lost a lot of talent, but it doesn't matter. He has so many guys coming in, recruiting-wise, transfers, the high school kids that are coming in. This Grimes kid is a top 10 player. And watch out for Lawson, the kid that came over from Memphis. He averaged 24.5 and 10.5 rebounds in the exhibition games. He's going to be their go-to player. But give me Sparty and Izzo plus the 6. And the game following that is Duke versus Kentucky. This opened up pick at Caesars last week. Kentucky's now 2-0. I agree with the move. I think Kentucky early season right now, better team than Duke.
USA Today Sports special edition college basketball preview was well done. Thorough breakdown of all the conferences. And they write, Kansas will have an ideal mix. In a day and age of roster balance being the ultimate currency to earn Final Four tickets, the Jayhawks have just the right ingredients of veterans, transfers, and elite freshmen to make it a winning recipe this year. If Self could get last year's roster, which saw him turn walk-ons because of they lack so much depth and size, playing in the season's last weekend, then this year's depth and influx of talent should be welcoming.
Well said. That is spot on.
Yep. He's right. They're right. Whoever wrote Scott Gleason. Yes. And with the Duke and Kentucky, you got the number 1 recruiting class against the number 2 recruiting class. So just an embarrassment of riches. And also what's college basketball now with the mercenaries? Bring guys in.
Did you see this, by the way? That's now 6 years in a row. Duke and Kentucky, in some order, have finished 1-2 in their recruiting rankings.
Is that right?
6 years in a row. And Coach K has turned this into Kentucky times 2. He does it more than Calipari does, actually. He does it better than what Cal does.
Yeah.
We get a rematch of last year when North Carolina lost as a 25-point favorite at home to Wofford.
Yes.
Wofford tonight catching 10 at home. As you said, nice job by Roy Williams actually agreeing to do this now, the home and home. Carolina is a major threat again this year. I bet them at plus 425 to make the Final Four. They are number 8 in the country. Ken Palm has them as a top 5 team. And, revenge may be on the minds. All right.
You've got Florida and Florida State tonight, as we mentioned with Coach Thorpe. I'm surprised the Seminoles are only 4. They've beat them 4 years in a row and spanked them by 20 last year. And they have a good team. A lot of guys come back. They went to the Elite 8 last year, upset Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. They are a top 25 team. And Washington at home against Western Kentucky. Washington, ranked team. You mentioned what happened in that, what do you call it, scrimmage, whatever it was, where they beat Nevada, ran them out. Hopkins, a good coach. And Western Kentucky, a good team last year. Deep NIT run, but lost some key players. That's a good game that I have circled tonight. That's on That's on TV too at 7:30 Pacific.
And so is BYU and Nevada.
Yeah.
I think Nevada is laying too many points here. They are absolutely loaded, as many teams are this season, but they're laying 14 at home to a BYU team that returns a lot of players. I think that's too many points for Nevada to be laying in this game. And also watch out for the total here. Looks like it's going to be around 155. I think that's too low. This could be a game in the 80s. And there's one other game too. I bet the Towson team total under against Virginia, 54.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I did. Because you know how Virginia can, right?
Yeah.
They win these games a lot of times, 88-43 or 71-46, something like that. And that team's going to be pissed off. Who'd you talk about being motivated earlier? You had a team that, rightfully so, should be motivated this season, especially out of the gates. I can't remember who it was now. I apologize to him. But
I don't either.
Virginia is a team that absolutely, I mean, the motivation is, without question, the first team ever to lose is a 1 versus a 16.
Yep.
Come out and just want to kill these teams out of the gates.
Well, yeah. They've had to wear it, like you said, with that offseason. But they're in a horrible spot. They continue to choke in March, so no one will take them seriously until March, no matter what their record is or what their seed is.
I did notice that offshore here, you can find regular season conference wins for all these teams. I don't know of any book in Las Vegas that offers that. So not a regular season win total, but just inside their conference, how many wins each team will have.
All right, I like it.
That's very good. You can find that stuff offshore. Follow the money on Sirius XM 204 and Fubo TV. Nick Bogdanovich will join us coming up next. He is the director of trading over at William Hill Sportsbooks. Do we have a duffel bag boy update? We'll ask Nick next.
It's been between 2 and 3 minutes. You know what that means. It must be time for more Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on Sirius XM 204.
We will try to squeeze Nick Bogdanovich into the program in the final 30 minutes. It's early this morning. Mitch Moss, Pauly Howard here on Follow the Money, Sirius XM 204 and Fubo TV. Cowboys last night, losers at home. Titans get the money. The game goes over as well. And it was an awful weekend for the books, as we've documented now many times over on VSiN. Some of the big bets that came in, how about $20 at CG Technology on a parlay? Turned into $16,000.
Look at that.
Chiefs minus 8.5.
Ton of those.
Over 50
the $6, $6 12-teamer, the $8 11-teamer.
Mm-hmm.
I think the $6 bet was here. The $8 was in New Jersey. I mean, the lottery tickets just coming in left and right here.
You mentioned the $20 10-leg at William Hill that paid off $13,236.
Look at that. Got the check mark next to all of them. I don't bet those kind of parlays. I've never done that. But do you just sit? I would never sit there and just, okay, winner, check it down. Guy's got the check mark by all of them. Grading his own work. Okay, good. There it is. I
remember
13 dimes.
The first weekend my brother ever came out to visit me, he put in a 5-teamer, all crazy chalk in college, laying up to like 22.5 points in certain games. Oh, he got there.
Oh, always.
He won it.
First time you come to town, you always hit that first tick.
Mm-hmm. He nailed it. Thought it was easy.
Oh, sure.
Oh, I can move out here.
Yeah, right.
He said to me. Okay, sure.
Laying 24.
All right, let's head over to William Hill Sportsbooks. Nick Bogdanovich, Director of Trading, joins us now. Nick, good morning. How are you?
What's going on, boys?
Hello, Nick.
Lots. And, so a couple days now, we've heard about how ugly it was, and it's different from book to book. But can you tell us over at William Hill how bad the NFL was this weekend?
Trust me, we led the way. It was just a bad Sunday. The scary thing is we had a miracle game last night, so there was a ton of liability going to the Cowboys, but the Titans came through, so helped soften the blow. But, Sunday was the worst Sunday. Well, it was the worst day period in the calendar year 2018, that's for sure.
Okay. Did the Sunday night game have any impact on how the day was going to go? Or was it both teams are so, public friendly that it didn't matter which the result was going to be anyway?
That's correct. New England was worse than Green Bay, but Green Bay was still a big loser. Going under saved a little, and the spread going 14 helped kill some Green Bay teasers. Yeah, but at that point, the damage had been done.
What was worse early, the Bears or the Chiefs?
Oh, by far the Chiefs. The Chiefs drew so much money. It was silly. The public had won the week before, And the handle Sunday was through the roof for whatever reason. I'm assuming just because he had extra money, but it was crazy handle on Sunday. And it was, we got those bye weeks. It's short, but the amount of money that rolled in on the Chiefs was frightening.
Okay. How did Saturday go in college? Did you get any of it back?
Yeah, Saturday was fine. It was a solid Saturday. Yeah, everything was fine on Saturday.
Okay, you mentioned last time we talked to you that you were going to need Bama. You're going to need LSU first half big. I think you went off 9 with Bama, and they got there. Did you get carried out on Bama first half?
Not carried out, but another solid loser. I mean, the people who smelled the Alabama in the first half early on are geniuses because they just won every game. Mm-hmm. I mean, this team, they just, obviously they just pile drive you, and then at some point the game's in control, and then they take the foot off the accelerator. But whoever jumped on board early knowing, hey, Alabama's just going to start fast and just destroy people in the first half, they made a small fortune this year.
How big of a loser is it with the Heisman Trophy with Tua?
It's nothing major. I mean, it's a loser, but it's small potatoes.
What if they win the title? They're now minus 280 at your joint to win the title.
Yeah, Bama's good for us, so I hope they do win it. Well, actually, I don't because I can't stand them. But I don't. Financially, it would be good for the book.
Who's bad then? Michigan?
Left. Michigan's no good. Clemson's fine. Notre Dame's fine. Oklahoma's fine. Who else got a puncher's chance?
I guess maybe Georgia.
I don't think West Virginia would be any good, but I'm not too worried about them.
Anything on probably nothing on Washington State, huh?
A little bit. We still got them 100-1, but I don't think they have enough. I really believe it comes down to Alabama, Clemson. I think Clemson's the only team that can beat Alabama.
I agree.
I mean, Alabama's like a cut above, and then Clemson's a cut above Notre Dame and Michigan. On a given day, Notre Dame or Michigan or Oklahoma, because of their dynamic offense, could do it. But if it was 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7, no chance. But Clemson's got a shot just because the freshman quarterback's dynamic. He's coming around, and Clemson's given them all they wanted 2 years in a row,
Amen.
And they're physical, and they could give them a shot.
Yep, amen. You saw what happened when they had Watson. They almost beat him back-to-back years, and then they didn't have a quarterback last year. Now they do have a quarterback. You got to be You're paying a tax now. You've been paying a tax on Bama, but now you're seeing Clemson's being priced like Bama. I mean, they're more than 17 on the road against a ranked team this week.
Yeah, but yet the pros can't stand it. Yesterday they took 26.5 and 26 with Miss State against Alabama, so. They're not afraid of Alabama, the pros. They're not afraid of the Chiefs. They love taking 8.5 with the Browns. So it's crazy. I think if they just let it run its course, they would have taken 10 and 28.
Did our favorite our favorite parlay better show up this weekend?
Yes, straight bet on San Diego State and some parlays with San Diego State in it. So the Aztecs did not treat them too well on Saturday.
6 figures?
100 straight bet and a bunch of 20 and 30 dime parlays. So Aztecs knocked them out of the box. They just no-showed in New Mexico. Trailed for most of the game. We're lucky to get out of there with a win.
That's right. Yes, that's right. Okay, very good. You got good job on the Golden Knights props. How's the handle been on the Knights now that they're not playing well? And you already got this up early. Yes, no on the Stanley Cup to win the conference and even the playoffs. They're only minus 260. The yes to make the playoffs.
Yeah, no, what a year. What a difference a year makes. There's not been any major action on them. Last home game, there was a little liability on the minus 1.5. But in general, their slow start has definitely slowed the backers.
Okay. How about college basketball tonight? We're talking to Nick Bogdanovich, Director of Trading over at William Hill. A bunch of games on the board, some marquee games, of course, with this Champions Classic. Michigan State, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, all those teams essentially, well, 3 of them anyway, completely loaded. Nick, and you're a big college basketball guy. How do you think the handle's going to be for these first games tonight?
Yeah, I think it'll be outstanding. It's a good card. Even obviously those two are as good as it gets, but Nevada's playing BYU, and there's some other good matchups. I'm interested after I get off the phone with you, I'm going to jump in the shower, head down there, and see what it brings. I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty brisk day. I know the games will be flying all over the place, so it'll be a fun day at work.
How many future tickets have you guys written? I'm sure you don't know the exact number, but have you taken a lot of action on Nevada with your books up north for this team to maybe make the Final Four or to cut the nets down?
Yeah, they led the way. The other day I looked at it, most tickets-wise, it was them and one other team. It was either Duke or Kentucky, a number of tickets. They were by far the most. We got liability with them because they started out higher, and people were, taking 20 to 1, then 16, 14, 12. I think they're somewhere in the 10 to 12 range. But we do have pretty good liability on Nevada. That is like, I'd love to pay that ticket. I really would.
Yeah, that'd be great. By the way, You track all this stuff. Do you agree with Kansas being the number one team in the country out of the gates? And I guess how close are some of the others here? Kentucky's 2, Duke is 4. A bunch of teams are loaded this year.
Yeah, no, I don't even completely. I don't care less about a preseason poll who starts off number one, and I didn't even let my brain even think of that stuff. So, yeah, no, not interested in that. But listen, this is going to be a dynamite year. I mean, a lot of teams can win it. Duke doesn't have to win it. Kansas doesn't have to win it. Kentucky doesn't have to win it. There's a ton of teams that can win it. So as of right now, obviously, what these coaches do with their key freshmen are going to be huge in the big programs, and the teams that have a dynamite 3-4 guys, if they stay healthy, and some other parts kick in. So early on, I give a lot of teams chances to win it. Obviously, it gets weeded out pretty fast.
Sure.
Fubo TV, VSiN, Follow the Money, Pauly and Mitch, Nick Bogdanovich, our guest director of trading at William Hill US on Twitter. Largest in-play wagering menu every single day. In the northern part of the state, how bad is it with, the Warriors, it seem like they win every night, cover every night. They got the money last night, and you're 450 on the Warriors to win the West.
Yeah, how about that three-point exhibition by Klay Thompson, their fourth best player. So, they're loaded, and they haven't even had the big C yet, Cousins. So, if they stay healthy, I don't see how they can lose it. They're so driven. They really are. They love playing with each other, and they're a fun team to watch. But I guess everyone is this year. Every game's 141, 132. So it's a wild league. Again, though, they have to stay healthy, and 82 games. I can't tell you how brutally long that is. That is long. Yep. Right now they look pretty invincible, but I wouldn't hand them the crown yet.
All right, and good point about Cousins not even back yet. How'd the UFC card do? I know you're always going to take dog money in the whether it's boxing or MMA with the main event, and they were betting Lewis, but Cormier smashed him. Did that have anything with the handle going against football?
It was a good handle card for whatever reason. We lost on the smaller bouts, but in the main bout, we really needed Cormier because they were taking money on Lewis because he wanted a big price last time. And then some guy at the end bet a 50-dime parlay with Cormier and Weidman got knocked out. So we did good to the main card and lost to the little card.
Yeah, that's like clockwork, though, as Pauly was saying. Every time there's a huge favorite like that, forget about it. Everybody, the entire public is going to take a shot at somebody that's 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1.
Yeah, that's always the fighting MO. And what's the deal with Mayweather fighting this 122 pounder? Has anyone got any more information on that?
I don't know anything about it. He's like a 250 favorite. I think it's just setting up Mayweather McGregor either in kickboxing or in the octagon.
So, but I was trying to find out news on is it a boxing match or is it an MMA match?
I think it's kickboxing. I think it's kickboxing.
Because the kid I was reading, he's undefeated in kickboxing, but he only weighs 122 pounds and he's 5'5", and obviously Mayweather's walking around at like 150. So
okay,
I don't know.
Well, he can't.
I don't know. I'm just trying to find out about it because obviously Mayweather's a big business in Nevada.
Right. Well, you can't make him. He can't be 260 if it's UFC, MMA, and he's never fought before, right? You think it'd have to be some type of boxing involved.
Yeah, no, I looked at the fighter, but I never found out the details of the fight. So I just thought you guys might have heard more after I was playing poker all night with the boys, so I missed out on all any. We could be at war with Russia right now. I wouldn't know it.
How'd the poker go?
I was the loser. I was the pigeon.
Jeez. All right, tough.
All right, pal. Good talking to you again. Thanks for waking up. We appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You
all
too.
right, very good. I'll look at that. I thought it was kickboxing. You guys can help us out on Twitter if you know. I thought it was kickboxing.
Well, I can't even believe
You can't be a 260 favorite if it's MMA, right?
Here's the thing. I can't even believe we have to look into this. But we do.
Well, yeah.
If it's going to be a fight on the board, right?
There's a price on it.
Betting
right?
board, sure, right.
Well, he's telling the truth, though. Mayweather is big business here.
No, I know it.
But that's...
but, I mean,
I don't know.
For him to actually take this fight, I mean, come on. Where are we at?
How many times has he retired? That's it.
7, 8,
That's
10?
for me. He's the opposite of Costanza, who knows how to leave on a high note. All right, I'll see you.
Yeah, no kidding. That story of him, and maybe, does he really need the money? Again, he just bought a $10 million mansion next to DeMarcus Cousins here in Southern Highlands.
Oh, he's cousin's neighbor?
Yeah.
Lives by...
I saw an aerial photo of it.
Our guy who golfed at Notre Dame. I was okay. Much of a golfer. Played at Notre Dame.
Yeah, sure.
Well, no, he has 100 cars, though. Maybe he's losing all his bets.
That's the thing. There was a story.
Loves
I think
to bet.
One of the Tobin dealerships here in town, they had a story on online a couple of years ago. Floyd is such great business for their dealership, and we're talking about high-end. I mean, how many Bugattis does a guy have? Like 10?
Well, I was convinced. I went to one of the strip malls here a couple of years ago. That Hyper something. That car from Fast and Furious was there. I looked it up. It's $3 million. I go, he's the only guy who would have that.
Yeah,
it's a $3 million car.
I remember that.
At Tivoli Village. He goes, sees our buddy at Mercedes-Benz all the time, Fletcher Jones. He's a regular. He's buying these $150,000 cars all the time.
But that story at Tobin, where they specialize in cars that are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, they will. Of course, when he'll call at 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, I want to do some shopping. Okay, we'll meet you over there.
Okay.
They will go and meet Floyd at 2 o'clock in the morning so he can shop for some cars. I think the number was he purchased 16 or 18 cars off of them. And this goes back 2-3 years now.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow. I don't get that.
Neither do I.
Jerry Seinfeld, Jay Leno, Reggie Jackson.
I don't understand it.
You can only drive one.
I know.
Reggie Jackson lost a bunch of them in a fire. That's a bad beat.
Think about that. Those vehicles in Seinfeld's show, comedians in cars getting coffee, those are all his. Every one of them.
Him and Leno.
And every
like 100
one's
cars, 200 cars.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
My God.
Collect shoes. Cheap.
Well,
something.
That's syndication money, though, for Jerry.
Well, yeah, too. Isn't that funny?
Carpal tunnel.
Isn't that funny? He's the exact opposite of Larry David. Larry David's got all that money. He doesn't spend it.
I know.
And Larry David's like, I got a place on the beach, Pacific Palisades, but after one day you get sick of the view.
Yes, right.
That's what he said. He goes,
only take the water for
it's just
so
the
long.
water. Yeah, it's just, what a lunatic.
All right, we'll get to in-pocket plays coming up next. And Gil is here. What is on tap for a numbers game? He'll tell you next.
And we're back with more Follow the Money on Sirius XM 204. Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard have the mics for the information you need to win.
All right. Let's find some winners here tonight. In pocket, college basketball returns. I'll go with a couple of games tonight. Give me Michigan State plus the 6 at Kansas. I do agree with the Jayhawks as the number 1 team in the country right now, but Michigan State is Michigan State. Yes, they lost some NBA talent, but they have a lot of guys back. Nice recruiting class as well. And BYU plus the 14 against Nevada. I think the Wolfpack is going to be really, really good, but BYU, they have a lot of guys coming back as well, so I'll take 14 with the Cougars.
All right, agree. And I also will check in with you Friday with your in-pocket with you 17-3. We got an update here. I have a pass. This is Thunder Lips here. This is Hogan against Rocky. Hard to produce pay-per-view buys if Mayweather is strictly a boxing match against a 20-year-old, whatever his name is.
He's 20 years old, too, on top of it.
He's competed at featherweight in kickboxing, 5 divisions below the weight class in which Mayweather stopped McGregor in August of 2017. He's 21 years older. He'll own a significant size advantage over the Japanese sensation. The rules and weight limit for their fight haven't been finalized. Sources have indicated, however, it likely will be strictly in a boxing exhibition, perhaps as short as 3 rounds, in which case it wouldn't count on his unblemished record. The kid's 27-0 with 20 knockouts in professional kickboxing. He's 4-0 in MMA. I don't know.
Well, wait a second. So, and Gil is here. Numbers Game follows us. Can books even come up with a number on this then? Should they? Should they waste time?
I saw 260.
If it's a 3-round exhibition, though?
I mean, someone will bet on it. But,
Yes.
yeah. That's so 3-round exhibition, and it's a boxing match? The kickboxing doesn't play into it? What do you make of, well, I guess the point is this. What do you make of Floyd here?
It's going to set up McGregor.
It's going to set up McGregor? That's what this is about?
That's my opinion. He's already getting after him on Twitter now.
How about Floyd? You said Floyd has a significant size advantage over this guy?
Yeah, I know.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
He's 120 pounds.
Yeah.
He's 20 years
God,
old.
That's the best detail in there.
Well, look at the picture. Look at the picture from the press conference.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Look at that. He towers over.
Floyd's like, I'm in. Does Floyd, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud. I probably should think this and not say this. Does Floyd need money?
No, we kicked it around.
Oh, you did?
I mean, because it's so well documented how much money he just, this is according to, I think, the local paper here. Did you know that he recently bought like a $10 million mansion next to DeMarcus Cousins right over here, Southern Highlands?
Well, I mean, when you don't ever lose a bet, Mitch, you can do that.
And right.
Well, he bets right. He loves to buy cars and expensive stuff, throw the money around, IRS problems. And was he married to that girl? Has he been divorced a couple times? Or
I can't keep track
of that. A couple kids, you know? He had that incident with the jail.
Yeah, right.
The other girl, yeah. One more thing. Thanks to Dan for coming in, too, the listener. Brought that painting in yesterday in the Army.
Very cool.
Excellent job.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Dan.
He's in the Army, right? Based in Alabama.
Oh, that's very nice right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he brought in a
nice.
portrait, a drawing of, he's a helicopter pilot. Young guy, listens every day, so thanks. Great to meet you. Okay, so where are you at now? Cowboys looked bad again last night, but you're a Redskins fan. 3 huge injuries on this team.
Oh, yeah.
Is it over now? Eagles going to run away with this division?
Eagles division bet. That's the theme of the day.
Okay.
I mean, the Redskins cannot overcome the cluster injury. They had these offensive line injuries last year too.
Yep.
Maybe not all the same week, which is, as I was saying, what made Kirk Cousins' performance last year so great. And then he lost Chris Thompson, which was his only weapon after Deshaun and Garcon went away in free agency. You can't overcome. By the way, the tackles who are not out for the year, Trent Williams and Morgan Moses, often banged up as well. So it's just you can't win football games after a while when you get cluster injuries. We saw the Falcons having to overcome their secondary injuries.
Bingo. Yep.
Yeah.
You can overcome 1, maybe 2 guys, but the clusters, no way.
And they were already a paper tiger. They were not a 5-2 skill level team. And they do have an easier schedule. The Cowboys have a difficult schedule, and the Giants are the Giants. Eagles defending Super Bowl champions. I think they coast into the playoffs.
I'm on board. What do you have coming up on a numbers game?
Have hockey analytics on the way from Andy McNeil. Mike Lombardi is on the show. And election bets. I got bets.
All right.
You do.
I'm just trying to make money, Mitch. There's no politics here. Just money.
Okay. Very good. I have to listen. I want to make money as well.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy the show. We'll talk to you
Appreciate
tomorrow.
it.
See you.
More of Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly